Good morning. So today's objective is to check if GPT4o can look at something that I've written on a piece of paper and give me feedback based on it. So this is not typed out. This is something that I've written. I wrote a slightly wrong sentence, as you can see. Je suis vu un film, and I've asked it to give me feedback on what I've written. And GPT is telling me the mistake that I have made. I should have used avoir. Instead, I've used être. And so it's giving me the right sentence. So we can see that it's first, I want to say intuition, but maybe not. Its first response is to give me the right answer rather than teaching me. But then that can be, edited in the settings later. So I try to ask it leading questions. Obviously wrong. Is this the present tense? No, if you want. And so the answer that comes from GPT is no. If you want the present tense, then it would be this, and then it gives me the sentence in French, in French in present tense. And so how do I say it in the past tense? And then again, as you can see, its first instinct is to just give the answer and not like lead you towards the answer. And so I ask it what this tense is called, and it doesn't go too much into detail. Whereas in the so the next question is, okay, can you explain? Let's see. I'm gonna ask it how to use this tense, and as you can see, it goes into a very long kind of explanation that is in reality a little tough for the student, because the entire lesson that the student needs to study in terms of Passé Composé is given there in like one sheet, and that might be too much for a student to handle. So then what does it do? What do you do? And so the instruction then has to come from the person using it to say, hey, that was a lot. That's difficult for me to understand. And so I start off by asking it questions about the first part. So there are two parts. What are those two parts? And as you can see, it gives me those two parts, and then it then goes on to give me a step-by-step breakdown of what those two parts are and how to put them together, which, all things considered, not bad. But still not the step-by-step that was demonstrated in the demo that we saw a little earlier. Okay, so this is where I try to kind of get it to go a little slower with me, where I say, can you give me examples? And then there ahead of it I tell, don't give me the answers, I'll try to answer them. And then I tell ChatGPT that it can correct me. And so it gives me, as you can see, 5 sentences. But again, its first instinct is to give them to me in English and ask me to translate. It could be because my first input question was in English and not in French. But when I tried it earlier, it gave me, on the very first try, it gave me French sentences. And so as you can see, it's given me a fill in the blank kind of letter. Here, something interesting I noticed was that in the first sentence, the E is in brackets as if it's optional. I'm not sure, maybe because of the apostrophe. But anyway. So I give it a wrong answer on purpose to see how it will react. And you can see the reply there. It explains to me why it needs to be why it needs to be avoir and not être. And then finally, the second one, also with a mistake, to see if it will catch my mistake. Let's see what answer it gives us. There you go. So it gives me the explanation and gives me the right answer, right? But with that I reached the limit number of queries that I can ask 4o, because it's the latest model, for one day. So I'm not able to continue any further. Whereas if it was ChatGPT 3, I could have continued. Anyway, thank you. Let me know what you think.